When the El Faro sank, said they're finally getting some questions answered. During today's hearing, safety concerns were raised. Channel 4's Chris Barrento is now joining us live from the Convention Center. And Chris, many of these officials have testified before. How is this being received this time around?
The family members are thankful that these executives are now having to testify again because they have those VDR transcripts that were released in December to go off of and press them a little bit more for questions. They say that the panel is doing a good job of that, not only with these executives, but also with former crew members that have testified this afternoon. Captain John Lawrence, Tote Services Director of Fleet Safety, said this morning he had handled potential safety issues that have come up already in this round of hearings. The father of one crew member who died when El Faro sank says he's glad to hear this new line of questioning.
Some of it even sounds like cross-examination because they've gone back over some of the other testimony to get more clarity and to drive the points.
One of those points was about an issue on the ship where a former chief mate fell asleep. A crew member anonymously texted a picture to Lawrence of that crew member. Lawrence says the member wasn't cooperative and only texted back sporadically about the incident. Eventually, he says, it was passed along to HR.
From the company's point of view, it was more of a broken rule or regulation. I think that the NTSB is trying to get to some of the root causes of what happened. And I'm sure that there are going to be more refined and defined steps in the discipline process, probably after all of this is over with.
Pastor Robert Green says this round of hearings is helping answer some questions he had after reading the VDR transcripts over the last couple of months and what he heard in the first two rounds of hearings.
I'm just anxious to hear what else is going to come out, especially judging from the transcripts and comparing the information that we have from the VDR to the testimonies that we received previously.
A former bosun on board El Faro says despite never seeing Captain Michael Davidson on the deck of the ship, the captain always knew what was going on with the deck operations. Another former crew member described the captain as one of the best that he's ever worked with in his career. Live downtown, I'm Chris Barrento, Channel 4, the local station.
Chris, with only 3 days left, what do we expect to hear the rest of the week?
Tarek, one of the things that we've been anxious to hear and hoping to hear is a member that used to work on board El Faro as a member of the Polish riding crew that was working on board the ship. In the first two rounds of hearings and in this round as well, the panel has brought up whether or not those Polish crew members were skilled enough and trained the right ways in lifeboat drills and man overboard drills or abandoned ship drills. We hope to hear that tomorrow when a former Polish worker on board the ship testifies. That is expected to be first thing tomorrow morning.
All right, Channel 4's Chris Barrento joining us from downtown. Thank you for that report, Chris.